everybody and welcome back to the channel. Hope you are all well on this Monday evening. So we're going to do part 3 of the colour along in Enchanted Earth by Melpomene Chatsia Panagiotou. We're using Albrecht Dürer pencils and I've made a few decisions. So we're just going to get going. Absolutely going to get going. So we are using leaf green, and this bit up here I've decided is most definitely grass. So I'm going to put a light layer of this leaf green down, and then where there is, oh, I'm going to just zoom you in a bit. Then where there is the heavy line art is where I'm going to then put my darker colour, which is going to be the deep cobalt green. I think that's going to be grass as well. Decided my mountains are going to be grey with a tinge of blue in. Because I don't want them to overpower the kind of flowers and stuff. Although I haven't, the reason I'm not doing the flowers today is because I've not quite decided on the colours yet. So I just thought I'd do the bits I know about and go from there. So then we're going to use beautiful, beautiful cobalt green. Like I said, we're going to put this on the bit where there's the thick line art, or the lines that has been added. I just hope everybody had a good weekend. I was playing in Basildon on Saturday. I was playing De Rufflet Requiem. In case for those of you who don't know, I play the violin. I was playing De Rufflet Requiem and Haydn Nelson Mass, and it was a fun concert. Very small section of strings. There was only 4 first violins and 3 second violins, so I really needed to be able to play my part, which I was able to, which was good. But yeah, really, really fun. So like I've said before, you light colour first, going into the dark. Otherwise, the dark completely overtakes the light colour, and that's not what we want. I've got a kitchen towel. I think you can probably see that just in the shot where I just blot my paintbrush before adding it to the page, because I don't want it. There you go, you can see there where the dark green then just morphed into the light green and kind of overtook it a bit. There we go. So I think that's everything in that bit. I'll leave my paintbrush there. There was a few bits on this leaf I just wanted to go back over. I think we did these leaves, didn't we, in the last part. And they needed to dry before I went back in with them with pencil, so that's okay. That's what I'm doing now. I'm just going back in with them dry. And this one over here, I think, as well. Otherwise, I'm quite happy with those leaves. Right, then I'm going to do this tree. We're going to use raw umber, which is what I think we used for the acorn. Now I'm going to just do a layer of raw umber, and then I'm going to add in the shading. Again, basically following the lines that Melpomene's put in for us, and that helps me. It's the same with Kirby Roseanne, I think, as well. If you follow the lines that the artist has added in for you, it's really generally quite a good clue about where the dark and the light is. Not always, but it can help, that's for sure. So I think this kind of goes down into a cave here. Oh, just green wasn't quite, but as you can see, if the pencil's got wet, so now it's kind of much more pigmented. So I think I'm just going to take that tree root down to there, but no further. So there you go, people. You need to let things dry. Otherwise that happens. There's got a few lines here. A few there, a little bit there. Just need to be careful not to put my finger in that and splodge it everywhere. Because that's just typical me, really. I'm not a very tidy colourist. Yeah, that bit's not quite dry either. If I'm honest. I tend to rush in, which isn't always the best. I am learning to be patient, but I'm not always. It's going to be quite dark down there. So where that's wet, the colour's a lot more vibrant. There we go. And I'm just going to just activate that with water. It's quite difficult here because there isn't a lot of the light bit left. So you just got to try and pick it out, really. It's possible, but it's not easy. Yes, that was my Saturday, and then Sunday I was very, very lazy. Caught up with Strictly. I'm a Strictly addict. Caught up with Strictly in the morning. Then did some ironing and general housework and that kind of thing. Didn't do very much at all yesterday, which was actually, sometimes you just need a day like that. Okay, so that's that. Then we're going to do this grey. I haven't got many greys, I have to be honest. That's why we're putting some blue in. What's that one? That warm grey too. I haven't got many cold greys. Okay, we're going to use warm grey 5. I might just start this down here. And we're just going to put a layer of the warm grey 5 in on all of these. I don't know if they're rocks or pebbles or what. That's what we're doing. And that's water coming out of there. I guess the rocks and pebbles could have a little bit like of brown and moss in them, couldn't they? So we might do that. And these look like kind of formed rocks rather than a bit weird, really. Yeah, I just don't want this to overtake kind of rest of the picture. Really. Because the flowers are so pretty in this, it's kind of, it would be a travesty not to have them as the kind of colourful part, really. And I know that Joanna Basford was watching her live today for her new Small Victories book. I know when she can't decide on a picture, she generally goes for grey. That's really quite funny. And I've kind of adopted that a little bit, I have to say. It does make things a little easier sometimes. Because grey does tend to go with most things. Right, so these are going to be grey over here. I don't remember to... I think what we'll do is we might even make that a bit blacker at the top. And there's a little guy fishing in there. It's going to get light as they go down. And that's very, very grey at the bottom. Might So, I mean, you could wait once you've done all like the dry before you added in, before you did the water. But I kind of like to see the vibrancy and intensity before I progress any further. That makes sense. I don't know, how do other people do it? Do you wait until you've done all of the dry work before you start activating it? Or do you do it little bit by little bit? This is how I tend to do it anyway, little bit by little bit. Well, this, I think what I'm going to do is be darker at the bottom and then lighter at the top. Don't know if that works, but that's what I'm intending to do. That's just in the distance. Okay, then I'm going to add a little bit of light blue to these. Kind of make it look as though they're a bit in the distance. That's kind of the mountains, really. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to activate that now. And then what I'm probably going to do with these is I'm going to probably go back in with black, just to darken up the shadows, but I'd do that dry. And that's what's so nice about these pencils, is they're so versatile. I'm sure that you could achieve the same with other pencils as well. They don't necessarily need to be the Albrecht Dürer, but these are the ones I have. I can't get the Derwent ink tints to work dry in the same way that I can the Albrecht Dürers. And I think that's probably because the ink tints are ink rather than... So there's just a different feel on the paper when they dry, when you're using them dry. I want to say they're quite scratchy when they're dry. Maybe that's just me and the way I'm doing it, but that's how I feel about them. They're lovely, don't get me wrong, I really like using them, but not the versatility in the Albrecht Dürers is something I've not experienced anywhere else. Right, I'm just going to have a break. Oh, you didn't see any of what I just did. That's what I've just done. I'm just going to zoom you out so you can see. I'm just going to have a little break and I'll be back. Right, I'm back. So I've just activated this grey at the bottom with water. I'm just waiting for my pizza to cool down. So I thought I'd just come back on, quickly finish activating. I thought I'd get a little bit further today, but it takes as long as it takes. There we go. I'm just activating all of this grey that I've put in, and what I'm going to do, because I don't have that many greys, I haven't got the full set of Albrecht Dürers, is I'm going to go in then with the black, maybe a bit of brown, and darken up the shadows ever so slightly. Like I said, I put a little bit of blue in these mountains just at the top. Just to try and get across that they're further away and not high. There we go. There we go, so when that's dry, That's gonna look good, right? And then for this background, I've decided I'm going to do a sunset. So we're gonna start with cadmium yellow, and then we're gonna move up into chrome yellow. Is it dark chrome? Yeah, dark chrome yellow. And then arrive at like an orange at the top, and then I'm going to put a little bit of red in here and there, and probably a little bit of more dark yellow around this sun. That's how I've decided to approach this. So I'm just getting a layer down, not worrying too much about strokes, just a light layer down there. Then we're going to move into the dark chrome yellow, and I'm hoping that when I activate this I can kind of do the blending a little bit more that way, and then I can always go back in with this dry as well. So I want a bit more of this chromium yellow around the sun here, trying not to get into this grey that I've just made wet. That's better. I'm just checking you can see that. And then I'm going to add this orange next. And that is going to be, it's going to be cadmium orange, so I don't know if that's too close. No, it's not. It's not actually. I thought it might be too close to the dark chrome yellow, but it isn't, so that's good. It's very difficult to get in these nooks and crannies with a water brush, so those bits might well not be activated, but you know what, that is completely and totally fine. I forgot I only just done the trunk of that tree. I need to be a little bit careful, because this is going to help me work out, I think, what colour I'm doing the flowers. So a nice contrast to that would be the purple and the pinks, which is what I was thinking anyway, so that's all good. So that's what I've decided for that little bit of sky, and I want to put a little bit of red in here as well, but I think I'll do that after I've activated it. I'm just kind of blending that orange and that yellow a little bit more, just enhancing the colour. And we'll come up even more once it's activated with water anyway. But just to make sure it's there, really. I'll probably put a little bit of that on the water as well. This is the chrome yellow again. Right, so I'm just going to activate that, and then that'll be it for this part 3. So I haven't got much water on this brush at all, and I've got to be careful because I have already activated these green leaves before, so just need to make sure that I don't do that again. So I started on that outer bit because I put quite a bit of dark orange around this sun, and I didn't want that muddying everything else. See how much more yellow that is now? Beautiful. And that's really blended nicely. It's my battery on my phone telling me I've not got much left, which is good because I'll be finishing in a minute anyway. That's really blended nicely. Just need to be a little bit careful near this grey because I've already activated it. And near this brown, because I don't want the brown mixing in. So yeah, it's likely that I will be adding a little bit of yellow to the water where the sun is on it. When I start doing the water, just where the sun's kind of sitting on it, really. Need a bit more water. It's quite a big area. So I'm going to try and get my brush in here, actually. There, these brushes I got from Amazon, they're like really small little brushes, so you can kind of get into the smaller areas. Didn't think I'd be able to, but yeah, I can with these. So that's kind of all blended really, really nicely together. And it's just a case of going in dry now and making sure that the colours are what we want them to be. And a little bit more balanced, I suppose. And I think they are pretty much there. I think, like I said, I'm going to put a bit of red in here and there. But that's, yeah, that's pretty much where we are. That's how we're looking. So I hope you enjoyed part 3. I probably will maybe make this a sparkly gold later on with the watercolour. But you'll have to wait and see for that. So that's where we are for the time being. Probably do the water next time and start looking at the background, and we've got to do the flowers at some point. So yeah, that's part 3 of our colour along Enchanted Earth. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!